On today's show, 3 questions. Number 1, are politics hijacking interest rates? Number 2, can a logo redesign tank a company's stock? And number 3, is Taylor moving markets again? Let's go. Welcome to Dennis Money's 2 cents, where we help Dennis navigate all the noise. I'm Matt.
I'm Will.
And I'm Rabih.
It's been a while, Will, so there was a little hesitation. That's okay. And also, Rabih, yeah, you are. I have to hit that every time. I'm honestly always super, I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. Every time we have Will on, I'm just so insecure. Like I get so insecure. I'm normally the one with the deep voice.
Yeah.
And then Will gets on and I'm like, God, golly, I can't do this. Anyway, as always, excited to be here. Rabih, a couple weeks in a row now, you've been a little stressed. You've been a little bit stressed about the lack of news. Should we just want to hit that for a second about the overall lack of news?
Yeah, actually, if you go back a couple of episodes, maybe beginning of September, we said, hey, people are on a summer vacation, right? Not September. I'm looking forward to the beginning of September, the beginning of
Football
August.
season.
Yeah, it's like people are going to go on vacation on Wall Street and you will hear news, but they're not going to be really that detrimental. So putting on the hat of creating content gets so much harder. I'd rather deal with a market that's crashing than to deal with a production schedule where I don't have a topic.
Everyone's listening and be like, Rabih, you're so selfish. You'd rather have a market crashing for us so you have content to talk about. Well, I know our team, our editing team, shout out Michelle. She's always, she is of the same opinion of you, Rabih, where she's like, can you please bring someone else on? I get really tired of just you and Rabih. So she's excited to have you on, Will, and we're back at it with the trifecta. We're back. So, Rabih, with the lack of news, you did somehow rummage something up about politics hijacking interest rate and the political risk there. Want to talk about that?
Yeah, it's kind of a hidden bliss that you could always go back to politics and you'll find something to talk about. So in that round, it seems like the interest rate decision is now going to be more politically influenced than what it usually is. Usually, we're looking at unemployment data. We're looking at inflation. We're looking at the growth in GDP. And we've got some data points on these this week. Not that consequential, but we did. Like Q2 GDP is now expected to grow 3.3%. We got core PCE inflation, the one that the Fed wants to go down to 2%, climbed up to 2.9. Last time it was there, it was February and dropped all the way down to 2.6. But then for the last couple of months, it's been 2.6, 2.7, 2.8, 2.9. So a definite upward trend that could be explained by the prices of equity markets down today being low. But all of that does not matter because there's going to be a lot of people change at the Federal Reserve Open Market Committee. And those are the people who vote for interest rates. So, and this is all related, if you've heard about the news, that the president is suing Cook, who is one of the governors on the Federal Reserve. And what is the reason to do so? So let me just...
Wait, real quick. Do we have a lawsuit tracker going somewhere? Like, there's got to be a lawsuit tracker somewhere online. I feel like every single headline I see now is like, Trump suing this person suing Trump. There's so many lawsuits. Like this
I don't
can't
have
be
a
normal.
tracker.
Whatever their lawyers are, just loving life.
Holy cow. That's the only one that's
Their
winning right
billable
now.
hours.
The attorneys. Can you imagine? There will be a report after the fact somewhere around how many lawsuits have been going on both sides just across the board during this administration. It's wild.
There are betting markets on what the outcome of the lawsuit will be.
Of course there are. Yeah,
sure.
We'll bring Jake on to talk about that next time.
Yeah. Okay, so with that, let me just give you a background on how the voting committee at the Federal Reserve works, just so we understand what the president is trying to do with, first bringing up the thing with Powell regarding the construction of the Federal Reserve building, and then being very excited when another one of the governors decided to resign, and then this one trying to force her out, right? So let's just to understand what is going on. When interest rates are decided, it's not just that Jerome Powell is sitting on his throne and he's, throwing a number at a dartboard. It's not that way. There are 12 people, and 12 people are voting, and it's a majority vote, and the vote of these people decides what the interest rate is going to be at. Those 12 people are actually come from 2 different sources. One source, 7 of them, are appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate, 7 of those. And then 5 out of the remaining 5 are actually presidents of the different Federal Reserves around the country. So we have 12 different Federal Reserves: New York, Kansas City, San Francisco, etc., Boston. They're distributed. Those are 12. 5 of them are on this committee, and they rotate every single year.
How are they? Are they voted in?
They
How do they become president of those?
It's internal to the Federal Reserve. So the Federal Reserve Bank, for example, of Missouri or of Boston, acts just like another bank out there, like Chase or JP Morgan or all the rest.
They're internally promoted.
They're internally promoted, and there are shareholders, and usually those shareholders are actually other banks, and they're internally promoted, and those 12 banks share amongst themselves these 5 seats. Interchange every single year. They alternate. They have their internal mechanism for it. It's not really something system that could really change with time. And the good thing about this, the term of these 5 people on the committee, the 12-person committee, is only a 1-year term. Unlike the 7 that are appointed by the president, they change. Just one last thing about those 5 people. The New York Fed is always there and does not change. So the remaining 11 central banks share the other 4 according to a preset schedule for 1 year each time. That is how they do. So you've got 5 that you can't really control. You can't really politically intervene with them. There is a mechanism for it. It's very bureaucratic. They change every single year, so they're not that consequential. What remains are the 7, right, that are appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate. Among these 7, you've got the governor of the chair of the Federal Reserve, which in this case is Jerome Powell, right? The term for the governor is different than when they enter. So those 7, their term is a one-time 14 years. It's not like they change once a year. One time 14 years. So when they're set, they're here. Cook, who was appointed by Biden, her term does not end until 2038 because she was appointed in 2024, right? So trying to push her out actually wins you 13 years. That is the idea behind it. And if we look at the decomposition of those 7, we've got 2 who are appointed by Trump. And by the way, Matt, the 2 who were appointed by Trump were the same 2 that dissented in the last meeting and said they wanted interest rates much lower.
Shocker. I would have never thought that.
And the remaining 5, because 7 minus 2 is 5, are appointed by Biden. And I did not know that, but it was very interesting. Jerome Powell was appointed by Obama, but was made a chair by Trump. Powell kind of was chosen to join the governance, the list of governors by Obama, but then Trump made him the chair at that point. And the term for Jerome Powell as the chair ends in February 2026, but his 14-year term as a governor does not end until 2028. So he can resign. No one is telling him he could stay. But there is a possibility that in 2026, May 2026, when he is no longer the chair of the Federal Reserve, he could just go back and be one of the voting members until 2028. Or he could resign and then, Trump will fill that position. The whole idea is that right now the split is among these 7 is 5-2 against Trump, right? Or I wouldn't say against Trump, but not Trump loyalists. They would not really follow what the Trump would ask them to do. If Trump is able to get Cook out of the House, right? And then have someone replace, I think her name, I forgot what the name is, but the other governor who decided to resign this year, then you will go to a 4-3 split in favor of Trump, rather a 5-2 against Trump. So now you are able to impact the voting a little bit. And it's just politics that it is. If you're trying to get people in who would kind of be swayed in your direction, you're going to get a better outcome. Before I move to the implications on interest rates, what do you guys think of, the Game of Thrones of Federal Reserves?
It really does feel like Game of Thrones.
It feels like House of Cards. Like every time I hear about this, I'm just like, what are the back office meetings going on when you're like appointing or talking about who's going to be on this board? So let me just confirm. Powell could stay on the 12. All he does as the chair is he's just the spokesperson. Is that correct? He doesn't actually wield the 12 wield the power, yes. And he's kind of like the spokesperson for the 12. Yes,
100%. He takes the bullets.
Got it.
Well, while you were talking, Rabih, there was some breaking news about this, which we live in the era of everything is breaking news, because all it says is fate of Fed Governor Lisa Cook still up in the air after court hearing on Trump firing Pitt. That's the breaking news. But it did say that the hearing in DC ended without a judge ruling on request by Federal Reserve Board Governor Lisa Cook to temporarily bar President Trump from firing her. So that's the breaking news, still up in the air.
And it is hard to fire, right? Like the president appoints, the Senate confirms, but once you want to get people out of the governor position simply because the Fed is an independent federal entity and it should not, you're not an employee under the administration. To fire, you need legal cause, you need evidence, you need proof. It's a court case. It's not just as a simple of here, submit your resignation and move over.
I think, but that's the key point there, Rabih, what you just said there. It should be a separate independent agency. It does worry me. I don't care who you vote for or what side of the aisle you're on. I am not a fan of trying to assert too much power over all aspects of the government and being able to make this political and get the 7 on your side and have that ability. I mean, again, look no further than the 2 that he appointed seemingly in his pocket now, showing that by voting against or dissenting against the vote for rates. That in and of itself, again, just general statement. I don't care if it's right, left, whatever. I don't like that. I don't like there being a mechanism for the executive branch having that power over the Federal Reserve. That to me has pretty scary implications.
You're not the only one. That's a good segue because interest rates, and we're talking about the long run interest rates, 10%, 10-year interest rates. Those are the ones that the market says what they should be. The Fed does not control the 10-year interest rate. The moment they started, seeing this fumble with the intervention trying to win votes, the interest rate started going up. And the 10-year interest rate goes up for 2 reasons. Either it goes up because there is really good economic growth, real growth is growing, which we haven't seen a lot lately, or it goes up because of fear of an increased risk, whether it's going to be rampant inflation or the system is not going to be working as it's supposed to be.
Meaning people are selling off bonds, which is raising yields.
Selling off long-term 10-year bonds, and that raises the interest rates. So the fact that this might be happening, aka interest rates are going up, is an indication from the market that they do not trust what is happening. They do not trust what is happening in the process. That is there. So 1, long-term interest rates are going up. 2, what about short-term interest rates? What about the target that they keep talking about? So the communication from the Federal Reserve so far has been that, we're going to do 2 cuts. We're at 4.5. By the end of the year, we're going to be at 4. This is about it. However, the dissenters from last meeting, and Will, by the way, it was the first time members of the voting committee dissent in 30 years. So it was kind of a news importance. And one of the statements said they think interest rates are 0.5 to 1.75% above what they're supposed to be. AKA, they should be around the 3% instead of the 4%. So if now he has majority, I have a really good hunch that the president would love that. Now you've got, the people to bring down interest rates, not to the 4% level or 3.75, but to the 3% level, 2.75, just because you can, not because economically this is what the right thing to do. We do not know what is the golden number economically. We have to wait for data. Like if there's something called the Taylor's rule that they follow, right? So there is a possible situation or a possible future where the president gets that majority, they drop short-term interest rates, which is the Fed rates, the 2-year kind of follows it, the 3-month treasury bill, that drops down all the way to 2.753, but at the same time, the market starts worrying because there's a heavy intervention into the decision of the Fed, and the long term, which is the 10-year, goes up. And what happens with the yield curve at that point? It steepens really, really high. That is not something that is really good for the economy because it's just telling you that right now it's good. We're taking short-term wins in at the trade-off or at the expense of long-term losses. You'd rather want the slope to be inclining, similar to the idea of we need only 2% inflation every single year. We want interest rates to not increase a lot, as signified by a steepening yield curve. So it might get back at them. Like if they really lower the short-term interest rates right now, the market might punish them by increasing the long-term so much and just make it a much messier situation. But this is a path that we could go through.
Yeah, I think what's interesting about that is I think the market has responded. If I'm wrong, Robbie, but it's interesting that I think the market responds well if the rates were to be cut, generally speaking, meaning the short-term rate. But what I think is interesting is it matters how the market also cares how you get there. So, like,
100%.
right, like if it happens via manipulation from the executive branch and everything you just described happens, it's not even about the rates on the short end of the curve lowering. It's about how you got there, when I think the market would react really poorly to that.
100%.
So
And
it's kind of
even if
interesting.
we, go with it and say, you know what, it was a Federal Reserve decision. Let's forget that the administration had something to do with it. If you cut interest rates without an economic reason to do so, one, you could spiral inflation back up. Or if a recession is coming and heading your way due to, I don't know, an economic shock, the AI bubble pops, whatever happens, well, you lost a tool from your disposal because interest rates could have
Already
been
go
cut.
low.
And
Yeah.
this is what I mean. You're getting a short-term gain. Equity prices are going to rally. But after that, what happens? You are in a less robust position to handle any headwind that might come towards the economy.
So you're saying like they want this. It's going to stimulate the economy short term. It's not a guarantee that it would be a bad outcome long term, but you can see a path towards it being a bad situation.
Yeah,
Yes.
because you're cutting without a reason. You're cutting without a slowdown. Like GDP is 3.3 for Q2, right? Which could spike inflation worries. Or you are losing a tool from your
I like
disposal.
that. Yeah.
It is there. You can't not calculate that into your
You
probability.
can't play that card twice.
Yeah. Well, a lot remains here as far as like them even being able to pull this off, right? I mean, this is going to be a long road ahead to even get to this point of having that level of influence. I'd imagine pretty difficult to pull. A lot of interesting things though, like you said, Robbie. Jay Powell's term is up in May, and then we have midterms, Senate midterms. So next year politically is going to get wild. It's going to be interesting. It does feel like House of Cards or Game of Thrones in a lot of ways. All right. Anything else, Will, on that or Robbie? Okay. Well, for not having a lot of news, Robbie, you kind of crushed that part. You kind of crushed
Thank
that segment. Okay. I know nothing about this, Will. I haven't heard this, but you both were kind of giggling before we jumped on. Can a logo redesign tank a company's stock? I've been apparently under a rock. Tell us what's going on with Cracker Barrel.
Have you ever eaten at Cracker Barrel?
I don't know if I have. I don't think so.
I don't think I have either, but I
Is that a
guess it's
buffet?
yeah. I think it's
Yeah.
similar to that. It's like similar to like a Golden Corral or a Chuckarama or something, which
Wait,
is more of like
is Cracker
local
Barrel
stuff.
the one that was famous, at least in Utah, for ripping Utah years ago? I think it was Cracker Barrel, wasn't it?
I don't know. I don't remember.
They were talking about coming to Utah, and there was all this stuff came out that they were like, "We'll never come to Utah," and they were like making fun of our state. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe
Anyway,
we
or I'm
got
just
some
spreading
beef with
rumors about a company.
maybe we got beef with Cracker Barrel. I don't know.
Maybe
Yeah,
we
I don't
do.
think they have any near us, but it's a nationwide chain. They're all over the place. Big fans. They've been around since like the 60s. Recently, they went through, so to keep it in the vein of politics, I think this is pertinent, but they recently unveiled a logo change. So the logo is like kind of the previous logo is old timey. It's got this guy sitting on a chair with his feet kicked up on a barrel, and it's like a very nostalgic logo. They've probably had the logo for 40 years or more, right? 50 years. They just recently announced a rebrand, and the rebrand was to make it look more clean and sleek. They took away the dude, what's his name? Old Trapper or something. They took away him. Old Timer is the guy's name, and they made it just like a generic font with like a sleek looking barrel, basically. So modernizing it. They unveiled like this $700 million plan to modernize their restaurants and maybe change up their menus and everything. And it was this huge backlash. So their stock, the day they unveiled the logo redesign, people the public took to X and different social platforms, and there was this huge outrage. Like it was this big like pitchforks, and we're gonna go after Cracker Barrel, and the stock tanked like I think 7% the first day, and then another 4% the next day, and I think it ended up like over a 3 or 4 day period down around 15%. All over a logo change, all over a
My
logo
gosh.
redesign.
People really like that old timer, apparently.
Well, I think, and I mean, this is what the articles are written about currently, is that it's less about the logo and more about like the sentiment and, people saying that the logo's gone woke and Cracker Barrel's gone woke. And it's more of this like political movement where brands are getting caught in the crosshairs of taking away nostalgia and taking away history, I guess, and kind of going towards this new, I don't really understand it. It's just, to me, a hilarious social experiment.
But it sounds like the new logo was just truly a redesign with like new cleaner colors or new cleaner like.
Yeah, but they took away Old Timer.
How dare you take away Old Timer? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think, Rabih? I'm curious what you think about this.
I think people have so much time on their hands.
Do you think this is a summer vacation issue? Yeah, this is a summer vacation.
Boredom. This is boredom.
I'm trying to find a rational link to this, but I can't, because like when you think of a firm brand or firm, like the optics of how people see a firm, like, is it really dependent on the brand? Like when you think of McDonald's, is it really the arches that you think of when you think of McDonald's, or when you think of Apple, or when you think of Ford? Like those are brands that are very close to American hearts, right? But like, is it really the logo and that makes that brand for you? Like if Apple decided to start having, I don't know, the Apple logo completely in black, will that really change what you think of the company?
No, it shouldn't, but I guess.
I mean, no, I've spent 0% of my life thinking about Cracker Barrel's logo and its impact on my life if they changed it. So it is, I'm with you. It's like,
do you know whose attention it did get? Who do you think tweeted about it?
I'm going to say President Donald J. Trump.
Right?
Yes.
He said, let's see what he said. Cracker Barrel should go back to the old logo, admit a mistake based on customer response, the ultimate poll, and manage the company better than ever before.
Okay.
Did they fire the guy who did the logo?
I guess if the people, can you imagine if it was like some who designed that?
It gets a little better. It's a woman CEO. She's the one kind of spearheading this. Everyone's calling for her to step down. She came out and said that they're going back to Old Timer. They're bringing the old logo back. It took them about 5 or 6 days, and they said, never mind, we'll scrap the old logo.
And
what happened to the stock?
Recovered.
Stock went back up.
No way.
Yeah, 7%, 5% recovery the first day. I think it's up like 7% from the bottom.
I got to see this logo now. I kind of have to see this. What was the new? Yeah. Can I see it?
Yeah, I can share it with you. Do you want me to share?
Wait, Cracker Barrel.
Just Google it. Anyone who's listening to this will be interested. The new logo is just like, it looks like a barrel. Yeah.
It's just plain.
It's clean, but Old Timer.
It's a barrel, and it's like cleaner. It's just like cleaner font. It's modernized for sure. It is so innocuous. Like, I guess people were just pissed you got rid of Old Timer. Oh my gosh.
Again, I think for some reason, like people took it as a larger political theme. Like they chose this as a battleground for like right versus left, and Cracker Barrel is supposed to be this right wing institution apparently, and you guys are modernizing it or taking away the nostalgia. I have no idea. I just think that seems like part of the reason this was such a large deal, and Trump tweeted about it. So Trump's
this is probably a horrible analogy, but this, to Robbie's point of people having too much time on their hands, I immediately thought of my children, and Will, you know this. There'll be like a toy that is just sitting collecting dust on the dresser or whatever, and then one of my children will notice it after like months, and they'll pick it up and start playing with it. And all of a sudden it becomes like the most important thing in the world to the other child. It's like my son will pick something up, again, haven't played with it for months, and then my daughter will be like, well, I want that, and they start fighting. I kind of feel like this is that version of like, it's just like, who freaking cares? I can't even believe this is like, that Cracker Barrel is like now the symbol of political struggle. It's maybe I'm missing something. Is there more to this story in regards to like what Old Timer represented or something, that like that logo is just, people just don't like change and they made it political?
I guess, and I'm speaking just out of full hypothesis here. I think this is maybe a generalization. The people who go to Cracker Barrel might be a certain like political
party.
Maybe that's like the more people who frequent that would be associated with a certain type of person, so that person wanting to resistant to change or,
Got it.
updating or things like that. So I don't
Just
know if that's
interesting to me that when you see the new logo, it's actually pretty similar. Like colors are pretty much the same. The
yeah.
font color changed a little, modernized a little bit.
And
It's
maybe
just
it's because they also announced a menu change and
all of
essentially
that.
updates, refreshes,
Got it.
modernization to the restaurants. And everyone's like, we like it the way it is.
Got it. Interesting. Rabih, you're ruminating. I can tell.
I'm ruminating. I'm in battle between two ideas. Is it that now in this new age of economics, attention is a scarce resource and whoever can divert attention makes money, and that's why the stock price went back up after they went off their mistake? That is one. The other thing that I'm battling with is that if we keep talking about how markets are efficient only in the long run, and this is a classic example of how market could not be efficient in the short run, because a 5-day change of a logo is not going to change the fundamentals of the company. It's not going to change how many dishes you serve, what's the turnover in a day in the restaurant, how many branches you have, and how much your expected revenue is going to be. Those are the fundamental stuff. This is the information that is usually incorporated in the price, right? When we say the market is efficient, we're saying that price incorporates all the information that we have. This logo change does not have an immediate impact on, especially going back away from it, does not have an immediate impact on the fundamentals of the company. So the stock price should not have moved by that much. And just tells you that this was an opportunity to trade, but not an opportunity to invest because the market was not being efficient at that point.
Good reminder of the different games to play versus trader versus investor. I just imagine that design team, that marketing team, like closing out their final meeting after probably months and months of like
They're
this
like,
whole
we
redesign.
killed it. Yeah.
They're like celebrating, they're like
We killed
high-fiving
this
each
logo.
other, just like so pumped, like they're exhausted, like go home, take the weekend, guys, enjoy. And then they come back on Monday and they're just like everyone's fired.
Yeah.
I just can only imagine the emotional roller coaster. I feel bad that they probably put a lot of time into that redesign. So that's funny. Yeah, Rabih, I'm with you. People have too much time on their hands. Speaking of things we shouldn't care about that move markets, but do, did you guys hear about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift?
No, this is brand new to me. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
it was on the front page of ESPN.com. And I was just like,
Yeah.
we need football. We need football back. Like, we need it. So if you have not heard, if you have truly been under a rock, the biggest superstar person, I think she has got to be top 5 most famous people of all time, right? Like,
Yeah. Yes.
there's
I bet.
there's no way. Like, I can't imagine there's 4 people or 5 people more famous than her. It is unbelievable, and this is yet another sign of Taylor Swift moving markets and changing economies. So, again, if you didn't know, Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce announced their engagement. Shocker. This was right after she announced on his podcast that she is releasing a new album. There's no way that those two things are not connected. So she announced that. Then, of course, all the details started coming out about the ring. Do you guys see the estimate of the cost
No.
of this ring?
No.
So upwards of, they don't know, people don't know the exact data, but somewhere close to 10 carats. And the range, this is kind of a wide range, but they said a minimum of 250,000. And we said it could be up to $500,000 ring, which is pretty wild. So this has obviously made lots of waves in the, social media diamond ring space that apparently is out there. Signet Jewelers, this is wild. So Cracker Barrel can change off of a logo design. Signet Jewelers, which I don't even know if this is where the ring came from. I really don't. It doesn't say that. But Signet Jewelers is one of the few publicly traded jeweler companies on exchanges. It jumped 3% on Tuesday's session and then another 6% on Wednesday's session. It was a pop directly following the afternoon post from Swift and Kelce announcing their engagement. There was a couple of other
investor, like are retail investors just like where you like jewelry now?
I don't know. This is what I can't figure it out really, but apparently, and there was this talk around, or you were saying this a little before we got on, but now there's already starting to be people going out there trying to find the cut and like the design of her ring and start copying it. Did you have thoughts on that, or you had some?
I just saw something on X that said it's the most high, like all jewelry stores nationwide are having demand for that cut, and obviously a smaller size, but similar. It's like does it look kind of like a football? Is it like a football shaped looking thing?
Please tell me it's a football cut.
Well,
I don't.
I don't think it's a football cut, but it's like some
Please.
kind of unique oval looking shape deal.
Got it.
And so I think that specific shape is what people are asking for now.
Got it. This says this ring aligns to recent trends in bold gold looks, fancy cuts, and oversized elongated stones. I just am so glad we're talking about this. 3 men talking about engagement rings. I'm more shocked at how it moves markets pretty drastically with these companies. There was a couple of others. So what was the other one here? American Eagle. They jumped more than 8% on Wednesday after a retailer announced a collaboration with Kelsey's Sportswear True Colors. It feels like the ripple effect of Taylor Swift, A, is moving markets, but B, is now making the Kelsey brothers, which I have a vested interest in this for Jason Kelsey, but it's making them like equally as big. Like now he's announcing connections or collaborations with companies, and that stock is jumping 8%. It's just wild. Rabih, let's get you in here and get your thoughts on this, because I know you care about this a lot.
I've been trying to come up with something to say for the last 5 minutes.
You're like, where do I go with this? I have no idea.
There's no spreadsheet in my brain that actually calculates this, but it's an industry, right? Like Taylor Swift is a trendsetter, a culture icon, and there is a business around all of that. Like when you are creating a fashion for people, it does translate to higher revenue for whoever is collaborating with her. And this is only as successful as the duration to which people stay cling to it. So unless something happens, or unless Taylor Swift can keep up capturing the attentions, this is a money-making machine culturally. And it is what it is. Like, I do not think, unlike Cracker Barrel, right? Because they went back and came back in, this is announcing new business from a more cultural perspective. And it makes sense why the stock price would go up.
Yeah, to your point, culturally, I mean, brands across the board have been trying to jump on this. So tell me how this makes sense, guys. Domino's Pizza and Grubhub pushed alerts to their app users announcing the engagement.
What is the Antis Advisors doing?
Yeah, we should have
Talking
sent
about
out
it on their
What's our
podcast.
promotion?
But we
What's
should
our
have sent
promotion?
out an email.
We should have sounded. I mean, to be fair, Ryan and I did a webinar last night, and it's the first thing we started off with talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we're here doing our parts, talking
We
about
should have
it
done
on-
an emergency podcast.
We
That's
should-
what we should have done. Yeah.
We did a student loan emergency podcast, and we should have done a Kelsey to Taylor Swift podcast. I will say this: I am in no way. I truly am not. I'm in no way like. I think there's a lot of people that are like haters, we'll call them, on this. I will say though, am I looking forward to this football season being completely consumed by this again? Not totally. I wish
I was watching Cincinnati and Nebraska last night, and they were there because Travis played at Cincinnati, and they were on the whole broadcast. Like, I was just watching like a very random college night, start of football season. It was a good game. They were there. They showed them probably every 10 minutes.
Yep. Yeah. I'm not totally looking forward to that, but there's no avoiding it. Here we go. And then like I said, I believe her new album's coming out like within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, let's go.
So we're
but
back on
markets might move when the album drops. Get ready.
Markets are moving. We're going to start talking about the impact of Taylor Swift on interest rates next week.
Like if she drops the name of some random company in one of her songs, I wonder, like, genuinely, it's curious to me if she wields power, obviously, like we said, right?
Huge. She
didn't even mean to have Signet Jewelers go up, and it happened, right? Like, it is crazy to me, the power of celebrity in this day and age when it comes to market and the way they could theoretically manipulate markets if they wanted to. And I just think, like, what if she sent out some official tweet about how much she loves some certain company? That company would go nuts.
Yep. It is true. Rabih's got thoughts, but it is true that it is crazy when you get to her level of power culturally that they like she could do
Moves
that.
The needle,
she could literally go buy a bunch of X company, whatever company, and then just tweet about it or make an announcement and immediately have that thing pop. She totally would.
That's like
It's-
what Dave Portnoy does with like cryptocurrency. It feels like he just goes and buys meme coins, then says everyone go buy them, and then people go buy them.
It's that easy. Rabih, again, you ruminating on this final segment. He's finally got something to say about Taylor Swift.
No,
We
I want to
got
go.
him.
I want to ask a Swiftie.
Rabih can't hold back. He's got something going. He's got something brewing.
Like if we bring a Swiftie to the podcast, right, and the three of us are interrogating her.
Why would you say her? Ryan's a huge
Matt-
Swiftie.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
we
but
could do that.
I work in probabilities. The probability that it's a her is much larger,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, is everything Taylor Swift's going to promote is something that you're gonna go and buy without filtering? Like, is it
Yes.
like?
Not for me, but
Yeah, I get it.
she's gotten to the level of religion. She's religion now.
I struggle with that, but
Swiftie army. That you say something against her, she's got an army that'll come against
yeah, like the conversion rate is very high. Like there's no filtering through. Like she says, do this, buy that. Everyone is buying it, regardless of their own personal tastes and preference if they like it.
She is the taste. She becomes, I'm not kidding you. Like I know multiple Swifties in my life that are like max level 10 Swifties, and she is the taste. She is the style. There's no thinking there. Truly, there is no, she says it, it's gospel. It's done. It's crazy. I'm not kidding you. Outside of Michael Jackson, there's never been anyone like her. I really don't think there has.
Crazy.
It's wild. The level of popularity to me is mind blowing. Again, I'm not there, but I witnessed it. I witnessed it all the time. It's kind of wild. So we have really regressed.
That's our next podcast is an interview with a Swiftie.
We should. Okay, we're doing this. We got to find someone on our team. Who's the biggest Swiftie on the team? Megan? Okay. Well, I really think we'll do this. Let's bring a Swiftie on. We'll talk Swifties. Okay. Well, if you're still here and listening, thank you. We're so proud of you. You're the cool ones. Will, Rabih, any other final words of wisdom on anything? Not related to Taylor. Well, if you're listening and again still, and this is valuable or fun or enjoyable, and in any way, we'd love you to share the show. We love this. We want to spread the word. If you want to talk to us, hopefully not about Taylor Swift, we'd love to talk to you as well. We talk to hundreds of dentists all over the country every year. You can go to dentistadvisors.com, click on the book free consultation button. For now, Will, Rabih, thanks for being here and sharing your wisdom. Everyone, thank you for listening. That was our 2 cents. Till next week. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.